What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at base Klose, the 87 striker. He is obviously an icon and is coming in at 87, 89 or 91 depending on what version you get. It is base, mid and prime obviously, and he is coming in at about 270 to 280 on both consoles. He's one of them icons that in real life was a pretty good player. Like, yes, I think he's kind of well known, well famous for I don't know if he still has it, but the most goals in a World Cup or in consecutive World Cups in total. Obviously into FIFA doesn't really translate too well, but anyway, let's get into the in games. We'll see how it goes. Is he worth the 270, and why would you want Klose base in your squad? So Klose is obviously one of these strikers that is necessarily a great finisher of the ball, but when it turns to pace, when it turns to kind of like the athletic dribbling, he isn't blessed with that. And he is obviously a player that was playing quite some time ago. I think he's been retired now for quite some years. I think it's not been like masses amount, but it is within the last, say, like 10 years. I think he has retired, and then obviously did retire from World Cup before that. I don't know how many goals actually it was, but he was a phenomenal player, really good header of the ball. He is 6 foot after all, so you can imagine him to be better on with his feet and his head rather than actually sprinting. He has got 77 pace, 73 passing and 78 dribbling with the 70 physicality. So you can already see there, it's not great for an 87 rated card. Like, the shooting is only 85, and yes, that is the kind of most important stat for a striker. It is a bit poor knowing that no stat is above 87 and considerably lower are everything bar from his shooting. He's got 88 finishing, 90 attacking positioning and 81 long shot with 79 shot power. I think if anyone was going for anything, it's got to be a hunter for this card. Does turn him into an 88 striker with 87 pace, 91 shooting, but I still think it's not quite enough, and his animations are totally wrong in this game. You will see in obviously some of the gameplay, we have made him look a little bit better. A few good goals. He's been up front, I want to say with Trezeguet. In fact, the clips are from quite some time ago. I did use him a long time ago, to be fair, at least a couple of weeks, so that I had this review ready and then we could get it going later on. And obviously now it's out. We get to a Monday and normally we get some gold or icon reviews done, as obviously we've been doing some promos up until then. Hopefully I'm trying to kind of blast through some more icons. Next up is, I believe, mid deco, and that means we've done base and mid, and then we're going to try and fire through as many icons as possible. In terms of kind of like heading and jumping, 93 jumping, 90 head and accuracy, 75 strength, not great. He is a 3-star, 4-star skills to weak foot, and he has got 90 composure, which is fantastic, but only 70 agility and 67 balance, which for me isn't amazing. I think the card is well put together as a kind of finisher, but in terms of kind of that all-round striker of pace, passing and dribbling, he only really has one kind of mentality, and that is just shooting with the ball. He's not someone who's going to be running past people. He's not going to be running, dribbling everywhere. He's going to be pass and move, and that is pretty much all you want to do, is keep teeing him up for them shots. As obviously he does have a nice shot, otherwise he'd be the lowest of icons. Inzaghi, I believe, holds that spot currently, and then I can imagine we'll see a shift in that as we get through to a higher rated players. We get more special cards out. We'll find that the icons that really do nothing do drop in price quite a lot. Obviously icon requirements could potentially bring back the value of icons and keep them kind of high all year round, but obviously we've got to wait until icon SBCs and baby SBCs come out before we know anything about that. But anyway, let's jump into some gameplay, see what it's all about. So I'm interested to see the clips with these actually, because this was quite some time ago. We managed to get a lot of cross goals, a lot of kind of like tee up goals. As I said, there's not really a huge amount of him absolutely obliterated defenders. We see a lovely little fake shot. Obviously it depends on what opponent you come up against. Sometimes you can make him look good against opponents that necessarily aren't in your level. We see a lot of them goals, and that is predominantly what he's good at. Volleys, heading, really good at them cross kind of goals, because there's very little that people can do about them. We do see a kind of couple of elements where there's some nice goals from him, some really good stuff, and the kind of the stats don't reflect how you can actually play with him. He's not necessarily the quickest, and he never will be, but in terms of kind of shooting, that's where he really kind of lies his almost his kind of positive part of him. He's really good at making sure that he gets the ball, and you'll see like even just the assist there. It's a beautiful little pass. He hasn't got the great passing, but it doesn't mean that he's entirely useless. He can still kind of play with the ball and really kind of make something about himself. We see again another assist. It's just a simple knock to the side, and it shows that he's not absolutely terrible. There is worse strikers out there, and there most definitely is more expensive strikers that are probably not as good either. But he did manage to score a few goals. Obviously, we played a few friendlies, a couple of rivals with him, just to kind of test the waters out with him, and he did pretty well. We see a couple of goals here, there, and everywhere. To the overall review. So like I said, if we do click him again, 278, 279, it's practically the same. 350 on the PC. Obviously, he is one of the lowest priced icons at the moment. I think they are inflated in the chance that icon SBCs require an icon. That will absolutely send him through the roof. Do I see that happening on this set? Probably not. Maybe when we get to the primes, I could potentially see that. Instead of putting 5 to 8 SBCs, maybe they knock 2 off and give an icon as a requirement. It's always a possibility. We saw it not last year, but the year before, and it most definitely could come back. So obviously he will be a little bit inflated to start with, and then if there is no requirements, he will drop down, and then if there is a requirement for that, you will see him practically double in value. Maybe they will definitely for the start really go up. You probably see him at least over 300k, depending on obviously the icon that comes out. In terms of his stats, as you can see, 77, 73, 78, 85, nothing too fancy right there. The Hunter is nice. It does add the pace and the shooting, but it doesn't really do anything about this, doesn't do anything about the passing. I can almost kind of look past the passing just because he's a striker. I don't expect him to have loads and loads of passing, but I think 80 is always a nice kind of round stat for it. I know Werner may not have that as well, just in case you see other reviews where maybe I kind of praise a little bit more passing, but I think 80 is kind of like the sweet spot. Anything below that, I wouldn't necessarily consider it a weakness unless it's kind of like under 75, and then you're kind of looking at a poor card, and it's mainly price to what you actually get ratio. I think the shooting and the pace is relatively good. Shooting definitely is really nice. Pace could be better. Passing definitely could be better. Dribbling wise, nice reactions, nice ball control and composure. Dribbling, agility, balance, not amazing. You could definitely get better out there for that, and I think that just kind of shows what sort of striker he is more than anything. You want to be holding the ball off for him, you want to be really kind of playing to his feet, maybe even having that little cheeky through ball that's like a couple of steps, because once he's on the ball, he's actually not terrible. Couple of fake shots inside. He has got 3-star skills, so it's still not amazing. I do like the 4, but it definitely is okay having the 3 at this point. Maybe with an icon, it's kind of like a mental capacity where you think, he is an icon, so he should be doing relatively good. So it is kind of like, it's almost like a placebo effect, but the positive. If you think you've got an icon, even if it is the worst icon in the game, you do feel like you can do better with him. And bar from that, there's not really too much to say about him. Links wise, I've gone with the German icons. I've kind of gone full German with the links. You've got Shearer and Lineker as the 2 similars. You've then got Matthias, Lahm and Ballack as all the mids that will link with Klose, and it's a cracking links, to be honest. If we do look at anybody else that I've missed, obviously Klose's prime there. Schweinsteiger is another cracking one, and then I think Matthias's mid is a centre back, and Lehmann's not in the game but wouldn't link anyway. In terms of, I was going to say in terms of generation then, oh, in fact, no, we do. In fact, we do have him. That is incredible. So we have had him in FIFA 10. Obviously, he has had a big career. And then he's moved over to Bayern, Lazio. And it's kind of like where he finished his career. Lazio finishing him off there. And then we do get the icon in 19, 20, and now 21. So it's really nice to see, actually, that where he's kind of come from, at least. He was in FIFA 09, I believe, to start with. And then he has worked his way up, managing to get a highest rated card of 90. And then he's managed to get himself an 87 base card with the 89 and 91 on top of that. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below any other icons you'd like to see. I am trying to pick them up. We are currently in investments, but if I can try and get them, I will try and get the review out for you. But make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you for the next one. Peace.